Get in your mix with coffee on the coffee break. Get in your fix. It's coffee on your coffee break. Tune in now. Coffee break.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Coffee Break. I am so excited tonight. We got an incredible episode for you. Before we get to bringing on our very special guest tonight, we just want to remind you that please share the video, start your watch parties, whatever you have to do, share the video. Also, don't forget to go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to the Coffee Break. It is free to subscribe. All you people who have come over and subscribed and supporters over the last week, I just have to say thank you again. We're at 1,170 supporters who have subscribed to YouTube, and we really appreciate you. Also, remember that when you're watching this live video, that some of the performances are muted because of Facebook and things like that. So if you go over to YouTube and watch the episodes, they are not muted there. So we appreciate you for that. First of all, I want to wish a very happy birthday to a very dear friend of mine, Dare Dykeman. His birthday is this week. And that's my Cane's buddy. After JR's on Thursdays night, we always go to Cane's and get some fresh hot chicken strips. So happy birthday to you, Daryl. Oh my God. All right. Are y'all ready? I'm ready. This is going to be a crazy fun night. And I'm so appreciative to this person for agreeing to do my show. Our guest is a native Houstonian who now resides in Atlanta, Georgia. She's outrageous. She's crazy, hilarious, but she is a comedic genius. When I tell you she is a genius, she is a genius. She's one of the official MCs for Miss Gay US of A, the Miss Gay US of A pageant. Please welcome the one and only, one of the most intelligent people that I know. Show some love for Sophia Mcintosh, the real Miss Sophia.
Hey, girl.
Hey, how are you?
Girl, I'm good. After that introduction, I said, girl, she done canceled me. She has somebody else.
No, that was you. You know, I admire you for being as brilliant as you are. And tonight, we hope that a lot of people get to know you. They always see you which I know you're going to be that way tonight too. But they're cutting up all the time. So we're gonna discuss a lot of interesting things and some things that people may know and may not know. But why don't we just get started with you sharing with our viewers a little bio, because there's some people who don't know you as well as like I do. I remember when you called me and said, girl, I got a copy of that Jennifer Holliday singing His Eyes on the Sparrow. And I came and got the VHS tape.
Yes, girl.
And put it on the cassette. So just share your bio.
Like you said, we've been knowing each other a long time. I was born in a little country town called Calvert, Texas. And that's up by College Station, Hearn, Bryan, Baytown, and all of that. And we moved to Houston when I was little. When I was 5 years old, we moved to Houston with our parents because our grandparents wouldn't let our parents take us to Houston. They said, y'all go get established and then y'all come back and get the kids. That was my mom's mom, honey. She would not let them take us to Houston with them when they first moved to Houston. And then I went to Lamar Senior High School, graduated from Lamar Senior High School out there on Westheimer. And I attended Texas Southern University, studied theater at Texas Southern University, and then I was working at the Ensemble Theater.
I remember that.
You know, then drag took off because I went to my first show at the Catch One in Houston on MLK, and I was like, I saw Cookie Cook hosting the show, and I said, I like that. I could do that because I'm going to school for theater, and all she's doing is acting. So I want to do that. So I never wanted to be into the glitz and the glamour of drag. I've always wanted to just do the comedy, but I had to wear the makeup and all that in the beginning so I could get my feet in the door. Yes. And the way I did that was by entering Miss Texas USA, Miss Texas America. And then you remember they had Miss Texas Newcomer?
Yep.
It was a huge pageant in Dallas. So I went to Miss Texas Newcomer, me and my friend Casper, and it was like 40 or 50 something contestants. 40 or 50 some contestants in the pageant, and I was like, first or second runner up in the pageant. And from then on, it's just been like lightning, honey. Just drag.
Oh my
hosting
God.
shows.
Well, you've come a long, long way from that newcomer pageant. Um,
Yeah.
Before we get too involved in the interview, I want to congratulate you on your new show, Club Chit Chat, on WERU Radio, We Are You Radio, and
That's
I
right.
understand that it's gay owned and operated.
Gay owned and operated, and that's where I am now. I'm in the studio here at the radio station. When you say you want to do the interview, I said, why not just stay here and do it at the radio station? So it's just like, yes, it's gay owned and gay operated. And I was at the other radio station, and then the guy who owns this radio station, We Are You Radio, he was on the SGL cruise, because we did a cruise. I used to go on a cruise. Well, I go on a cruise
Right,
every
right.
year. Me and Tommy and Tasha Law and all Naisha. So we all do this cruise every year. So this guy was on the cruise, and he's like, Miss Sophia, I want you to come to my radio station. I want to give you your own show. And I was like, okay. So he's like, well, when you want to start? And I said, well, let me think about it. So then he called. I said, well, give me another month. He said, okay. I said, give me another month. Give me 2 more weeks. Give me 2 more weeks. So he called me the last night. He said, Sophia, your starting day is. and I started, and it is so fun. I have so much fun. I get to do everything. My own show is called Club Chit Chat, like you said. Me and the Laughing Hyenas, those are what I call my followers, the Laughing Hyenas, because I do comedy. So they're like, how you come up with the Laughing Hyenas? I do comedy, and it was already a phrase, Laughing Hyenas. So why not just throw them in there? Those are my followers under the Laughing Hyenas. And
Oh,
I do
okay,
my
'cause
show from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. weekdays. And it's
wow,
been a
wow.
blast doing my own show, running my own board, booking my own guests, and all that kind of stuff. Just like fun. I was a little hesitant at first because, I've been in radio, so I know what all it takes, the producing and running the board and getting sponsors and all of that. And to know that all of that was going to lay solely on me, it was just like a little frightening. But once I got in here, and this is our second week in the studio, we used to do our shows from home. So we just came in the studio last week.
Oh, okay,
So
okay, okay,
so
okay.
exciting and fun. So when you're in Atlanta, you have to come by my radio
Yes,
station.
most definitely, most definitely. So, what exactly? Give us a little synopsis of what the format of the show is. What all does it include?
It plays all music, but it's mainly focused toward gay artists, because gay artists don't get a lot of play in the mainstream radio.
Hmm.
So they are heavily focused towards the gay artists. However, we play all types of music. Play all
Oh, okay.
rap,
Okay.
R&B, hip hop, all of that stuff.
And then, do you like interview people in between, or are there sets of like interviews with different people and things like that as well?
Yeah, I could book guests to interview guests. I had like 3 guests so far. I've only been here like in the studio for like 9 days, and I done had like 4 guests. And I already, like some people that wait to get co-hosts and all that. But my second week, the first week I advertised, you want to co-host with me? Then send me an email. La 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 la. So I've had like 3 co-hosts already. I have another co-host tomorrow. Then I have another co-host today.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I definitely got to come to Atlanta then, and instead of email in.
No, you just call me. You good. You
Just
don't have to
call you.
send an
Okay.
email.
Okay.
Yeah, you know somebody. It's all about who you know and what you know
Right.
and all that. You know me, so you don't have to do the email. Just call and say, "Girl, I'm in town."
So I don't have to go through the people, huh?
No, you are the world famous Coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee with a K, not with a C.
Yeah. Right. Because coffee with a C goes. But I know that you've traveled this road for quite some time, and I know to get to where you are, it has not been easy. Can you share with the viewers tonight some of the highlights of the journey to get to where you are now?
Well, when you're younger, you don't look at the journey as being all good. But as you get older, you realize that the process and getting to where you want to go is part of the journey. So you have to make it all fun. And so when I first started out, it was just like it was hard to get into the door as an MC, because we had Donna Day, we had Cookie the Cook, we had Naomi Sims, and then there comes Coffee. But it was just like it was hard to get your foot in the door as an MC, and that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to host the show. But Randy Rochelle in Houston, Texas, she came up with this brilliant idea to start the New Kids on the Block. And that was a show where the new kids, just up and coming, kids were able to do a show. And she started off doing it on her birthday. And it was me and Portia Parrish, Chevelle Brooks, and Tiffany Brooks, and, girls of that nature. Now look at all those girls today. They're like popping.
Right.
So that's how we really got things started. Then people started demanding, like, what y'all need to do it like once a month or twice a month. And la. So that way we started doing that show. And from there, hosting that show, I started, I entered the pageant, Miss Texas US of A, Miss Texas America, and I did Miss Texas Newcomer. So from that, Craig Henderson noticed me, and he asked me if I would like to host the Miss Texas pageant. So I entered Miss Texas US of A, I entered Miss Texas America, and from that, Craig ended up asking me if I would host like the final night of talent for Miss Texas. Well, host Miss Texas. So I'm like, sure. So then Craig and Jerry Bird has a relationship. Jerry Bird, Craig, Texas, and US of A. So they were having issues with their MC for final night. Mm-hmm. And so they asked me if I would like to host talent the final night of Miss Gay US of A. And I was like, sure. Duh. You don't have to ask me twice.
Like that took like you had to think about that.
Hello. So then it's just like, and from then on, I just become the official MC for talent night, final night at Miss Gay US of A. And then that was such a blessing because I watched all the girls grow up and compete year after year after year. And then knowing that, they had Donna Day hosting and Naomi Sims hosting, and, every now and then they'll have Pauletta Lay hosting and all that stuff. So just to be, considered Carmela Marcela Garcia.
Yeah, she hosted
so it's
for
just
a long
time. I didn't win Miss Texas, didn't win Miss USA. And here I am, the host of final night, the talent. So it's just like, and then I had no reason to compete no more because that's the whole thing about competing is you want to become a part of the family. Exactly. So now that I'm a part of the family, I don't have to compete because what am I going to get more than hosting final night at Miss Gay US of A?
It's so funny you said that because a lot of times once I win a title in a particular system and I start being a part of that system, like with Continental, and start getting to MC and things like that. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm in the family now. This was my goal, to be in the family. So why should I go spend all that money competing and things like that? I get the best seat in the house. The MCs get the best seat in the house every time. And you just walk in and you're treated like, people love the MCs. I appreciate that. I appreciate their love.
And now, then not tooting our own horn, but the MC is like the heartbeat of the show. Because the MC has to keep things moving in, even when you have technical issues and all of that stuff. The MC is the one that keeps the show moving. So you have to have a great MC and a great host. The music mess up, you got to stall. The MC got to do that. Somebody talent, props fall, or somebody setting up and all that. You need a great MC.
Exactly, and I often tell people they don't understand that as MCs. We are doing several jobs at the same time. We have to not only keep them entertained, like you said, if things go wrong or you got to stall the show and things like that. If you don't have a good MC and the show has to be stalled, you're going to lose your audience because the MC has got to keep these people entertained, until it can move on.
Until they fix whatever the problem is. And it's so funny because a lot of people, we are so good at what we do. All the great MCs, me, you, Princess Darrenisha, Flame Monroe, and I could just name them. But because we're so great at what we do and we make it look so effortlessly, everybody think it's easy. And then when they try and do it, it's like, oh my God. You're trying to entertain the audience. You're trying to listen to, the people in the back talk about you need to stall because they don't have such costume. Her zipper just broke. You need to stall the music. They have an issue with the music and all that. You need to stall. So it's just like then you got people hollering in your ear. You're trying to entertain and you're trying to listen to what they're saying, and they think it's just you're just getting out here introducing people and saying a few jokes and all that. It's like, no, honey, it's more than that.
Because I had somebody come to me one time and they said, Kofi, can you teach me how to MC? I said, well, girl, I said, I don't really know what to teach you, because it's really just you just almost have to have this natural gift of being able to be on the microphone, and you can't be like anybody else. You got to be yourself. Because one person came up to me and said, well, Kofi, I was emceeing this show, and I had tried to read the person like you was reading them at JR's, and they had got mad at me and wanted to beat me up. And I was like, well, I said, because you're not me. I said, and it's all about your deliverance. I said, we can talk about people, but they know we talk about ourselves as much as we talk about them. And it's all about the way you say it to them. You got to know how to
Yeah,
say
your
it and
delivery,
deliver it.
the delivery is key, honey. And it's just like I said, we make it look so easy, and people think that it's easy. But you told them right. It's all about your personality. You have a personality. We each have our own personality, and
Yes,
all it is you displaying your personality and finding out what works for you. Because if you copy somebody, what's going to be said is, "Oh, she is imitating Coffee. Oh,
it,
she's acting like Sophia. Oh, she's trying to act like Donna Day." So it's just like you have to be an original because people can tell a copycat.
exactly. Now, when you are emceeing, you have us in stitches. I mean, you have us in stitches the whole time. Actually, sometimes you emceeing in between the talents is more entertaining sometimes, than what we just might have seen. So how do you prepare when you're like getting ready to MC such a large event such as Miss Gay US of A? How do you like prepare when you get ready to walk out?
I prepare the same way every time, whether I'm emceeing a pageant, whether I'm emceeing a birthday party, whether I'm emceeing just a company party, Christmas party, whatever. I prepare the same way. I keep up with the current events, what's going on in the world, and
Yes,
I say a
yes,
prayer before I go out. Before I
yeah,
go out, I say my prayer, and I just say, let's do it.
yeah.
But that's all I do is just keep up with what's going on, what's current events.
And I told somebody that when I like at JR's, like when I do my first number, it's always going to be some number that I've probably done 1,000 times and things like that. Some number I'm really, really comfortable with. That's not going to be my time to try some new number out on y'all, because what I am doing during that first number is I am scanning the audience. I am figuring out that when I end this song and put that mic in my hand, where do I want to go? When and people are like, what? I said, yeah. I said, that's why I do like something very familiar on my first number, because I'm like really paying attention to the audience, because as soon as that song ends, I've got to know where am I going with the MCing. I gotta see who's got on something funky and crazy, who's out with somebody else's boyfriend, and who's this and all that. So I'm doing all that during my first number, to know. And
But
they was like,
and with me it's quite different because I don't really do numbers. I only do numbers when they
right, right,
request. So I
right.
just come out and just go to talking. So it's just like praise the Lord, everybody. How y'all doing? What's up? What's up? And then like what you're doing when you are doing your number, doing your song, you're scanning the audience. I am doing that while I'm doing my opening monologue. It's just like, hey, everybody, how y'all doing? What's going on? Da da da. And then I'll say something like, what's going on in the current, baby? Come on, Joe Biden. Joe Biden, the big Kamala Harris, baby. All right, baby. I know y'all was thinking it's gonna be stay safe, and it's gonna be such, 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 such. And then while I'm doing all of that, I would notice somebody in an ugly blouse. I would notice somebody with an ugly hairstyle. I would notice somebody that looks wounded. So, and then I key in on that, honey. But it's just the same thing. What you do when you are doing your song, I do that throughout my hosting a show.
Right, right, right. Well, you do an amazing, amazing job, because we are so entertained. I think
But
one
thank
year,
you.
yeah, I think one year something happened at Miss USA and you couldn't make it or something like that, baby. When they said, "Oh, Sophia's not going to be here tonight," everybody like, "What?"
Oh, and I know her because I got all kind of text messages. Where are you? Where are you? I'm not gonna be there. I'm not gonna be there. But it's just like and I feel honored when stuff like that happen. Not that because people really, when people love you, they love you. You
Yes,
know this because
yes,
we have had people that have been with us from when we were not Coffee and not the Sophia.
yes,
It's just
yes.
like those people have been there, and you always want to show them that you don't take this for granted and show them your appreciation. And
Right,
I'm so
exactly.
glad that, Facebook and all that stuff came out because before all of that, people used to take advantage of us and advertise that we were going to be somewhere, knowing they haven't gotten in contact with us. And so when we didn't show up, people be mad at us. Our fans would be mad, like, the only reason I came because Sophia, and then she didn't show up, blah, blah, blah. Baby, hold on. I didn't even know that. They didn't even book me. I didn't know nothing about that. But now, since we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all that, you go, hey, if you're going to be such, then I'm not there. I heard they were advertising I'm going to be there. I haven't spoke to nobody.
Exactly.
So it's
and
just like,
they did it, honey. They did it. Because somebody called me.
Saved us. And I let everybody know, baby, before I get, if you don't see something on none of my social media, me advertising that I'm going to be somewhere, then don't believe it. I'm not going to be there because I'm not going to advertise it on my social media until I get a deposit.
Thank you. Thank you. It's because I was laying at home in bed one night watching TV, eating bonbons or doing something, child. And somebody had sent me a message on Messenger to my, where are you? I said, at home. Oh, well, weren't you supposed to be at? Well, no, I ain't got no. They said, oh, well, we came because they said you was. No, ma'am.
They do that a lot, but they had to stop, honey, because we get on social. I go live on Facebook. Take my picture down. Take my picture down. You know I'm not gonna be there. Y'all that advertise, I'm gonna stop that.
Okay, so speaking of pageants, you MC Miss Gay USA, but I know that you've also entered a few pageants, and a few years ago,
the obstacle.
Yeah, and I think we have a clip. that we're going to show right here, and because Sophia entered this pageant, I guess about 5 or 6 years ago, baby, and she became the obstacle. So we're going to watch this clip of her answering her on-stage question real quick, and then we're going to come back and let her explain exactly, girl, because you have worn me out with that. So we'll be watch this, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am competitor number 6, Sophia, and I've had a wonderful time tonight. I hope you guys have had a wonderful time as well. To all of my competitors, obstacles and caused 8 girls to drop out of the pageant tonight. What obstacles have I overcome tonight? Ladies and gentlemen, I haven't overcome any obstacles. I am the obstacle that caused the girls to drop out of the pageant. So my advice to all of the other girls that are competing for the pageant tonight, stop trying to become a queen and become an obstacle.
You had just wore. Did you win that pageant?
Well, I did, but they didn't crown me.
So explain.
Let me explain to everybody what that was about. D. West, the owner of Westland Newcomer, he asked me if I would host Westland Newcomer. So I said, sure. He said, but I don't want you to host it like you host pageants normally. I want you to host as a contestant. I want you to do all the categories as though you are a contestant.
Oh, wow.
I said, oh, that's different. That sounds fun. I said, okay, I'll do that. So that was D. West's idea, the owner of the pageant. So the whole night, it was so hot in that building, so hot, that it was just like I felt for the contestants because all I was doing was changing the color of my lipstick and my hair. They had on all this makeup because they were serious contestants, and they had all this makeup and hair on, and I know I'm drenched, soaking wet because it's so hot in this building. So when we got to question, I had did the presentation, evening gown, and talent, and we got to question. I said, I'm done. I'm not doing it. I said, I'm not doing it. They said, no, you did the whole pageant. You got to do question. You got to do question. Because what it was, I'm trying to get dressed because they had a contestants going outside. And so I'm trying to get dressed so I can go out of here and not have to come back in this heat box. So then they're like, come on, you did the whole pageant. You got to do the question. You got to do the question. So come on, go outside. So I'm like, oh, child. I said, okay. So I went outside. So everybody thinks, a lot of people think that I heard the question. But no, they put me outside just like they did the rest of the contestants.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know what the question was. So then when I answered the question, and it's just like, oh, my God. And y'all went up like that. So my thing was, I was like child, I would have missed this great moment because that has went viral, me answering that question.
Yes.
And then the people who were back there, the contestants and the contestants helper, they know that they didn't tell me what the question was, and they know I wasn't sitting back there just listening. I went outside just like the rest of the contestants. So then it was just like after that, I was like, oh my God, and it's a viral moment. And I'm like, because it was so hot, I almost missed that moment because I was dead set on not answering that question. But the person that was helping me get dressed told me, please, you got to answer the question. This is the last thing. You got to answer the question. And I equaled that to when I went to Barack Obama's inauguration the first time. It was so cold. It was so cold sitting out there in that cold. And I was just sitting out there, and all I can remember, my hands are numb, my fingers are numb, my toes are numb, and everything is numb. And I'm just cold. And it's just like, oh my God, oh my God. And I kept saying to myself, but years from now, you're going to be saying, oh my God, I was there. And it was the same thing with that question, at Western. It's just like, child, if I had just listened to my own gut instinct and not answered that question, I would not have this moment that I get to live over and over again. And it's like every time Western newcomer come around, that question, that video, somebody will share it. Every time a pageant come up, period, if it's Continental, if it's USA, if it's Black Universe, if it's Black America, no matter the pageant, when they get to question, somebody is going to always talk about, the obstacle. And then just like, girl, when they asked me that question, I'm like, baby, listen, it's so hot. But a couple of girls did drop out, girl, because they heard I was in it and they thought I was a serious contestant. But it's like, girl, I was a serious contestant. This is newcomer, honey. They wouldn't let me in no newcomer pageant.
Well, until you just told me, I was like, because I never did, like the clips that I've seen, it never did say newcomer. It just said Sophia at Westland or whatever. So I thought you was like really into pageant, because I was like, I said, well, one question and answer.
But the whole night, everybody, and then a lot of people, after the pageant was over, some of the customers that were in the audience, the majority of them thought I was a serious contestant in the pageant. And they say, she not doing nothing she don't normally do. She being herself. She not trying to be nobody else. She being herself. So a lot of people thought I was in the pageant. And a lot of people were mad when they didn't crown me.
Oh my God. Well, because
it's like, hold on, I was just playing. I don't care if you were playing. You were still better than I was. Like, oh my God. They said, after question, you definitely should have won. I just know I'm just playing. And one of the contestants, she was so mad. She was so mad that they let me in the pageant to play like that. Amaya Chancellor, she was another one that was in the pageant. And she thought I was a serious contestant too. I was really in the pageant. When I went to registration, because I did everything, girl. I did the post videos that I'm doing in the pageant. Did some of my friends, they post videos. Talk about, don't y'all cheat my sister. I'm going to support my sister. Don't y'all cheat my sister. And then I went to registration. And when I went to registration, Amaya Chancellor looked at me, and I'll tell you, she gave me the dirtiest look. Like, oh, she really in this pageant. She would not speak to me, would not talk to me. But it was like several months later, and I worked with her in Baton Rouge, and not New Orleans, and we had a conversation. She's like, I was so mad at them for letting you in that pageant. I was mad at them, honey, because you was in there playing, and I'm trying to get myself together, and they let you come in there and play like that. And she said she would never go to West. She said, I'll never do that pageant again. I said, girl, you need to go on. You know you deserve that pageant. I'm not going to do that pageant no more. They played with me. I said, okay.
Because I said, oh, Sophia wearing it out, baby. And come out and did some high kicks and all that. Oh my God. Well, you enlightened me, because I mean, until now, I really thought that you had decided to enter this pageant. I did not know.
That's why you say, did you win? I said, well, yeah, I did. They didn't crown me. Because a lot of people thought that I was really a serious contestant in that pageant.
Yeah.
No,
I did. I know one of them.
Mama was playing.
I'm guilty. I am guilty. So, well, we're gonna now you've had a movie career as well. I know you did. You
I was in Tyler Perry's I Could Do the Bad All by Myself, and Soul Kid Cabaret, Nikki Gilbert, and then I did a Kasha and the Zulu King, an animated film, and a couple more roles. But yeah.
So television. Back to I Could Do Bad All by Myself. Now, over the years, there's been much speculation.
Oh,
I
I
call
can
it
hear you. The sound went out.
there's been the Sophia, Tyler Perry, Madea. So I'm gonna need you to just go and clear that up tonight. Just go and let the people know what the real deal was, and clear that saga up, because I've heard it for years.
What, but the real deal is, I really don't discuss this, but you're my sister. But my sister, my Texas sister.
Yes.
But and you see me when I first started.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I never was into the glitz and glamour. I always wanted to bring the comedy.
Right.
And the things that I used to do when I was in Houston are the same things that I did when I moved to Dallas. Same thing I did when I moved to Atlanta. When I moved to Atlanta, Tyler Perry used to come to the Monday night shows that I was hosting on Monday nights. And he would sit in the back up under the spotlights. And social media wasn't as big as it is now. But we did have phones and cameras and everything, but he wouldn't take pictures. He wouldn't take pictures and stuff, but everybody knew he was at the show. When he would have rehearsals for his plays, because during that time he was doing the plays, going around different cities doing the plays. And he brought Ed Nisbet to the show one night. He brought Deatrick Hicks, and he brought a whole lot of the people that were in his plays and stuff there for rehearsal. So Deatrick Hicks is the one that really, she was like, "Oh, you my dear. Oh, you my dear. Oh, I can tell you really my dear. Because I'm just watching you tonight. I can tell you my dear." And then Tyler Perry used to come to me after the show, and he would like tip me, like, "You crazy. You said such and such, and I wrote that down. I'm gonna put that in my play." And one of the things that he wrote down that I used to say was "FUBU." When I said one night I was going around the audience and I said, "Oh, baby, look at you in that FUBU, honey." And they were like, "FUBU?" To me, like, "Yeah, fat, ugly, big, and uncomfortable." So he came to me and he said, "I'm using that in my play." So he did. And so then, I always have the hammer and peas, a can of peas, or you never knew, a brick. You never knew what I was going to have in my purse. And then he started doing stuff. Having his purse with his gun and the hammer and all of that. So like, okay. So then I used to do, I do Tina Turner. I do the Tina Turner bit in a minute. So you go to his place, honey. Now he playing with Tina Turner. Which acting like Tina Turner. So after all of that, I feel like he came to the show on Monday nights, and he saw me hosting the show on Monday nights, and he saw that I was content being in that building hosting that show on Monday night, and I never had a vision of being outside that Monday night show, in film or television or nothing like that. So he took advantage of that situation because he knew that I was the little kid just content being in the club hosting the show with all these people. I mean, we had tracks was 3 levels, and it was packed every Monday night on all 3 levels. And then for Labor Day, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it on Labor Day. Oh. And we came out of that on Labor Day, our first year Labor Day, because we split the door, all the cast on our first year, Gay Pride, Labor Day, that Monday. Each cast member walked out with 8,000 plus.
Wow. I remember you told me it used to be incredible. I remember you told me, some things after I won Black American, I was, at the Stars of the Century, you used to tell me how incredible Tracks was.
And every Labor Day, we never had a Labor Day where we didn't get at least $3,500 to $4,000. We never got less than that at Tracks on Labor Day. So Tyler Perry saw that I was content being there. So what messed his game up was because he was cool coming and taking stuff, getting ideas from me and going and, presenting them to the outside world like these were his ideas. What messed him up was when they put me on the radio here in Atlanta. So now people hear me on the radio and they're like, "He sounds just like my dear. Oh, Miss Sophia act like my dear. He sounds just like my." And then there was the gay community. I didn't have to say nothing. The gay community was out there. They was like, "She is the original model. She is the original model. Tyler Perry stole from her." He used to come to the Monday night show, so everybody would, go through all of that. I didn't have to fight. I didn't have to say nothing. But one time I did. I did sit down and talk to a lawyer, and I had got all the paperwork and everything together. I gave him all the evidence from clips from when I was in Texas, from Twit magazine. Remember Twit
Oh yeah,
magazine? I got clips from Twit magazine and all of that stuff that I was doing when I was at Texas Southern, all of that. But baby, it's just like when we finally got ready, we were getting ready to file the lawsuit and everything. And I told him, I said, you know what? I said, I don't want to do this. And he said, huh? I said, I don't want to do this. He said, we got everything together. I said, I know. I said, but my thing is, I know the talent that God has blessed me with. And I don't want to sue him and win and get all this money. Who say I may lose, but if I win and he has to pay me all this money, I don't want to be the person that's blackballed from Hollywood because they'll say the only reason you're here is because you sued Tyler Perry and got this money. I want my talent to take me where I need to be. And if it's meant for me to be in Hollywood and to be in movies and to be on television and all of that, then I'll let my talent speak for me and not just go, to try to, say that he stole from me and I was the first one to do this and I was the first one to do that. He came to show and he did that. It's just like, no, honey. So after that, after I dropped the lawsuit, I dropped talking about it. I stopped talking about it because it's just like, I'm not going to waste my time talking about something that coulda, woulda, shoulda, because he's on shows saying that he got the character, he based his character off his aunts and, people that he knows. So it's just like, okay. So it's just like, after that, I was through talking about it. I don't talk about it for those reasons. And then he called me and put me in the movie I Could Do Bad All By Myself. And a lot of people was like, well, why you didn't do it in drag? And I was like, well, he had a conversation with me and it made sense. And I didn't want to do it in drag. Although, and this was my reason for that, because he sat me down and he said, you're going into another arena. He said, I'm getting ready to introduce you to another audience. And he said, and they don't know you like I know you. He said, so the reason I don't want you to do it in drag is because I want them to see you. And I don't want them to see Miss Sophia. And then after that, everybody feel like you have to have this wig and makeup on in order for you to be on film. And he said, I don't want you to be typecast as a drag queen. And you can only play a drag queen. I said, oh, okay. And I didn't want to do it in drag because although this was not the first movie I did, Sasha and the Zulu King was the first movie. But Tyler's was released first. So everybody think that was my first movie. And then since it was going to be released first, I wanted to be my authentic self. So my mom and my dad and my aunts and my uncles and my cousins and everybody could see, oh, that's that. Oh, look, that's my cousin Junior. My mom would be proud. Said, that's my son. And my dad, that's my son. That's my nephew and all that. And what happened was a lot of people said, that's my cousin. That's my cousin. A lot of my relatives did go through that. And people were like, that ain't your cousin. Everybody always talk about this, their cousin, that ain't their cousin. Blah, blah, blah. So then when I went to the family reunion one year, and then my cousin said, see, I told y'all that was my cousin in Tyler Perry movie. So it's like, and that was the reason I wanted to do it as Joe as opposed to Sophia, because I wanted my family, especially my mom and my dad, to be proud to see their son up on the big screen as opposed to a character that their son created.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Because when I saw you in it, I knew you. I knew you as Joe, and I was like, oh, I wonder why he didn't do. But now it makes so much sense. And I know your parents truly appreciated that. I know they did. So tell me, Sophia, Joe, what inspires you?
Oh my God. Entertaining. I always, ever since I was little, I always wanted to have a job where I had to wear a uniform. Like when I was growing up, I wanted to be an ice skater. I wanted to be a bus driver, a city bus driver. I wanted to be a flight attendant. Every job I wanted to do, it came with a costume. A uniform.
Recognizable that this is what I'm doing.
And then the reason I wanted to be a city bus driver was because sometimes I would catch the city bus to school, and the bus driver would know certain customers. He would know their name and they would know him. So it's just like I've always been fascinated by that. People knowing my name and me knowing people's name. You get on the bus, honey, and then it's just like, hey, you get on the, hey, Kofi, how you doing? Like, how he know her? How he know her? So it was just like stuff like that. So then it was like when I was doing plays at church and everything, and people would say, that boy gonna be a preacher. He gonna be a preacher one day. That child, he gonna be a preacher one day. And so then I got into this acting thing, and I've always wanted to work downtown. I don't know why. I just wanted to work in a tall building downtown, wearing a uniform and all that. So it dawned on me when I moved to Atlanta that, I was doing everything that I wanted to do. I do drag, so I'm wearing a uniform when I do drag.
Exactly.
And
Right.
the radio station that I was working at was in an office building downtown, just like this radio station that I'm working at now. It's in an office building downtown. So it's saying the things that you wanted to do, you're doing them. And what motivates me is I love to make people laugh. I love to make people laugh, and I love to laugh. I love to have fun. I love to have a good time. And then years and years of doing it, I'm sure you know this because it's happened. I'm sure it's happened to you as well. When you have the gift that we have, and you make people laugh, and people come up to you after the show, it's like, I lost my mom and I ain't laughed in a while, and you really
Oh
made
my
me
God.
laugh.
Oh, yeah.
I was in a dark place. I lost my job, and it was just like and I just came here. I did such a whatever the situation is, and they attribute you to bringing them out of a dark place or helping them get through a dark situation in their life, and so that motivates me to keep going and keep going. And then it's just like one day, all those people say that, that child gonna be a preacher one day. That child gonna be a preacher one day. And it's just like one day it just dawned on me and say, like, you do have a ministry. Your ministry is comedy. And so now I say that, my comedy is my ministry, and I don't have a church. I'm not an average preacher like people know. Like going to the church and see your pastor every day. It's just like, no, my ministry is on the road. I take my ministry with me everywhere I go. And when I can put a smile on somebody's face, or make somebody laugh, or bring somebody out of a dark place, or help somebody through a dark situation, that, inspire and motivate me to be the best and bring my best all the time.
Oh my God, because I can totally relate to that, because those type of situations, I mean, yeah, we love the money, we love getting tipped and all that. But when someone comes up to me and shares a moment like what you just described, that there's no it's priceless. It's absolutely priceless. And I try to tell that to people, that we as MCs, y'all don't understand the power that we have to make a difference in people's lives. So that's like when I'm on stage, and sometimes I do gospel songs and things like that. And somebody said, well, why do you do gospel in the gay bar and all that kind of stuff? And not long ago, a lady said to me, you may be the only face of Christ that they see. Girl, I could have shouted, because I do it because if the Spirit leads me to do it, or if someone makes a request and things like that. But when she said, you got to remember, you could be the only face of Christ, or the example of Christ that they see.
Right. And then my thing is, and that's what I mainly do is gospel. I do gospel songs, and I had the same thing. People approach me like, why would you do gospel in a club? And I say, well, I don't know what church you go to, but the church that I attend, they tell me that God is everywhere. So
Amen.
Even if I don't do a gospel song in here, he's still here. And I say, everybody else is doing all this other music. So what's wrong with at least one person acknowledging him? Because he's the one that made it possible for all of us to be here. And if something happens, then I want to know that I'm covered. And I'm not ashamed of him. And I don't want him to be ashamed of me and come and get me out of here. And then, knock on wood, out of all these years that I've been doing this and you've been doing this, there have been shootings in clubs.
Yeah.
And I have not been in one of those clubs where the shootings have happened.
Exactly.
And it's just like, who are we?
Exactly.
Who are we?
Exactly. I'm telling you, you better shut up, because we're gonna end up having some church.
But we can have church if we want to. Because he said, well, 2 or 3 are gathered in his name, he is there in the midst. And 1, 2. Amen.
Yes.
Don't make me shout in here. I turn this into We Are You gospel radio station.
Yes. Girl, they don't know. They don't know, honey, but it's so true. Oh my God. So what has been one of the lowest moments in your career?
The lowest moment was absolutely without any shadow of a doubt when my dad passed. Because there was an event that I do annually. It's the retreat. It's a retreat. I do 3 events every year. Annually, I do 3 events. It was USA pageant, then it's the SGL cruise, Sensation, and then there is the Fall-tacular. Fall-tacular is an event where we go. This guy was celebrating his birthday. He started off doing cruises, so then we decided to do like a weekend in the mountains, and we go to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, every year, celebrate in the mountains. So it was during this event I was getting ready to go, because usually we drive up, but for some particular reason, I rode the bus, because they have a party bus going down there from Atlanta. We get on the bus at the airport here in Atlanta, and we go drive down there. I got on the bus one year, had a fabulous time. So I'm riding on the party bus. I'm riding on the party bus. So I was on my way to the airport to meet them to go to Gatlinburg, and my sister called and said our dad had just passed.
Oh wow!
And then I was like, okay. So I called my mom, and I said, hey, well, my sister just called me. I told her, I said, so I'm getting ready to go to this event. I said, what you want me to do? And she said that, well, she said, we're going to take care of everything here. You just go ahead and do what you planned on doing this weekend. Go ahead and do the thing, and you just come home as soon as you can. So I said, okay. So I called the people who were in charge of the event, and I told them, I said, listen, I said, my dad just passed. I said, but I talked to my mom. She told me just come on and do the event, and I'm going to go home when we leave. So just like I went, and I said, but don't tell. I said, don't tell nobody what's going on, because I didn't want the event to turn into a pity party for me.
Exactly.
Because my ministry is laughter. And then it's just like, I'm going here to make people laugh. And I'm going here to make people laugh, knowing that I'm not laughing on the inside. And so I went to the event, and I did it the whole weekend. And, I didn't bawl out, like, until the end. It was like the last event. And I went through the whole weekend. I just entertained you, just like I always do every year, just entertain. And so then at the end of the event, they announced that, we just want to say that Miss Sophia is here this weekend, but she lost her father. She was on her way to catch the bus and get here, and she lost her father. And that's when I lost it. But after all of that, I realized that in that moment, after like a couple of days after that, I realized that I didn't know that I had the strength that I had until I did that event. And had I not done that event, I wouldn't have known that I could go out and make people laugh and not being able to laugh myself from the inside. So it took that moment for me to know for myself that I'm stronger than I give myself credit for.
That's
the lowest that's moment in my life. And then I think about my dad every day.
Yeah, and what's so amazing is that when things like that happen, there's an amazing strength that comes from God that we, at the time that we're receiving that strength, we don't even realize that we're receiving it. We realize after the situation that strength was there for us to do what we had to do.
And then on top of that, we always say God never puts more on you than you can bear. But then in that moment, when you're going through stuff like that, you forget all these quotes and stuff. Yeah. You're just like, I'm in this moment. Like,
right. Exactly.
Honey.
Exactly.
Because when I found out, but my mom had got sick too. My mom had got real sick. And this was before my dad even passed. My mom had, so we thought we were going to lose our mom first. But my mom had got real sick. And baby, I called one of the girls that used to work at the radio station with me, Joyce Patel. I call her, I just want to go home. And she's like, Sophia, calm down. You're going to get yourself sick, and you got to calm down. And that was the whole thing with me moving to Atlanta. That was the only issue that I had, because I come from a close-knit family, not just my immediate family, my cousins, my uncles, my aunties, I come from a close-knit family. And me putting all those miles between us was really what was holding me back on from moving to Atlanta from Houston. Because I moved from Houston to Dallas. That was cool. I could jump in the car. Anything happened, I could jump in the car, get to Houston in a matter of minutes. But if
Right.
something happened when I'm in Atlanta, if the airport is closed, I'm gonna have to wait till the next day. And even if I start driving, it's still a 12, 13-hour drive to get to Houston. And I talked to one of my friends who wanted me to move here, and he was like, Sophia, he said, what are you doing when you in Dallas? He said, what are you doing in Dallas? I said, work. He said, and what? I said, pay bills. He said, okay. He said, what are you gonna do if you move to Atlanta? I said, work. He said, what? I said, pay bills. You can't do that here in Atlanta. I said, yeah. I said, but I don't want to put all those miles in between me and my family. And he's like, well, he said, like what? I said, in case something happened, if something happened, you know, and I'm in Atlanta, he said, if something happened and you in Dallas, what can you do? I said, pray and get there. He said, if something happened to you in Atlanta, what can you do? I said, pray. He said, oh, so what's the problem? You could pray from Atlanta, you could pay bills in Atlanta, you could work in Atlanta, you could move. So what's the problem with you moving to Atlanta? So I moved to Atlanta. I called my mama, honey, and she was like, ooh, because she was very, ooh, Julian, you already moved to Dallas. Now you talking about move, ooh. So I guess if you want to, well, go ahead. And, yeah, but ooh, baby, yeah, go ahead. If that's what you want, I'll support you, blah, blah, blah. And then it's just like after all of that, when I moved to Atlanta, because originally I moved to Atlanta to work on my stand-up comedy. I wasn't coming here to work at no club or nothing. I was coming strictly to work on my stand-up comedy because Chris Tucker owned the comedy club here. So it was a black-owned, black-operated comedy club. So I said, let me go down here and just get myself together and start working on my stand-up comedy. And then it didn't work out the way I wanted it to work out, and I ended up on the radio. Had I not moved to Atlanta, I would have been on the radio. The #1 morning show for 7 years, girl. And then it's just like the places that the radio station took me to. I went to South Africa free. I went to Barcelona, Spain free. I went to China free. Went to, girl, you know, I could just name all these places I went to for free. And then on top of that, you know, I grew up in a world where somebody's impersonating Whitney Houston. I met the real Whitney Houston working at the radio station. You know, people impersonating Patti LaBelle. I met Patti LaBelle. People impersonate, you know, all these. I met Janet Jackson. I met Beyonce. You know, stuff like that. But had I not moved to Atlanta, those opportunities probably would have came, but they would have took longer. And then exactly. It's just like, oh my God, all of the things that I have received since I've been here in Atlanta and did not have my eye on radio at all. Radio was never on my radar. And people ask me all the time, how did you end up in radio? That was a dream that somebody else dreamed for me.
Wow. It's amazing though. It's amazing because we never know. And I'm a firm believer that the journey of our life is already written before we're born. And sometimes God has to nudge us on to where we need to be. And we can be kind of stubborn sometimes. And then we'd be like, oh my God, if I had never did this, look what I would have missed. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, so on top of that, I moved here with the intentions on going to do stand-up comedy. And then it's just like after everything went down, I realized that God said, if it takes you thinking you're going to Atlanta to do stand-up comedy, if that's what it takes to get you where I want you, then I'm going to let you think that until you get to where I want you. And once you get to Atlanta, then I'll reveal to you what it is that you're going to do.
Tell me, you gotta be willing to go. You gotta be willing to go with it. Yeah. So the high, what would you consider the highest moment in your career so at this point?
Girl, it's so many. It is so many. When I tell you it is so many, I cannot name. But one of the most all-time favorite, I already talked about it. When I went to the Democratic National Convention, I was a delegate. I was on the platform committee, and it was the year that Barack Obama received the nomination in Denver, Colorado. And from there, I went to the Democratic National Convention. That was my first time going to a convention. Then I had all access pass. Excuse me. I had an all access pass because I was on the platform committee. Then I received a ticket to go to the inauguration.
Oh my God.
And then somebody who worked at our sister radio station, she knew how hard I had been campaigning for Barack Obama. Her brother worked in DC, and he had 2 tickets to a ball and 2 tickets to the inauguration. So as a volunteer, as a platform committee member, I just got a ticket to the inauguration, but I had to get my own hotel, my own flight, and all of that. So her brother worked there, and he offered her 2 tickets with seats at the inauguration. He got her 2 tickets to an official ball. Now they have several balls throughout the
Right,
weekend,
right.
but the official balls are the ones where the president-elect and the vice president-elect and their spouse they come to. And he gave me 2 tickets to those. I already had 2 tickets to that ball, but it just so happened that the girl that I was staying with, because the hotels were sold out, the girl who worked with me at the radio station, she's from DC. So we stayed with her parents. Baby, we had people laying everywhere. In the kitchen, in the garage, in that house, we had people laying everywhere. So I ended up giving her friend 2 tickets to the ball. And just so happened it was the same ball that I was going to, the Southern Ball. So
Oh,
just like
wow.
going to the ball, my first inauguration, my first Democratic National Convention, all of that, and it's unbelievable because that's history.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was the first. He was the first, and I was there to witness it. And so, because we you know how we are in Texas, so the ticket that they gave me, once I got the ticket to the seat that her brother gave her to get, and she just gave it to me, I end up giving the ticket that I got to Tommy Ross. So that's how Tommy ended up at the inauguration.
Oh,
I gave
wow.
her the ticket that I had received by being a member of the platform committee. And I used the other tickets for the seats for me and the young lady who allowed me to stay at her mom's house that weekend.
Wow,
But
that's
that was
amazing. That is absolutely a amazing story. And because when he got elected, I think my mom had passed away like 6 months before the election, or a few months before the election. And I said, "Oh my gosh, she would not believe that we finally elected an African American president to the United States of America."
and
Wow.
there's a possibility we could have our first African American female
V-
vice president
Vice president,
if
yes, we
everybody
can.
do what they need to do and go
Vote,
out and vote.
vote, vote. They
It's not
got
going
to
to
get
happen if
out.
you don't vote. It's not going to happen if you stay at home mad because your candidate didn't win. We saw that
Exactly.
from the last go round.
Exactly.
Get on out there and vote.
Well, I've got just one more question for you, because it's been a great conversation.
You
It's
can
been a
ask me
great,
as many as you want, girl.
because I,
We can take
because
2
I,
episodes. You just have to take 2 episodes and run. No.
it's gonna be part two. It's gonna be what's gonna be episode 1 and episode 2 of Coffee and
Yeah.
Sophia. Well, I mean, it's just feel we've known each other so long, but I'm not gonna. I'm now you've worked all day already, so. But how have you dealt with the effects of the pandemic, like on your everyday life?
Well, at first I was like everybody else. At first, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go. I would still like going places, and I wasn't wearing the mask because I'm like, girl, they don't have a cure for this, and people wearing these masks. So you get it, you don't have no mask. But then the longer it went on, it's like, hey, hold on. And then with my mom is in Texas. My whole family still in Texas. So I talked to my mom one day, and she said, well, yeah, she said, we got our masks today. And I told everybody we're going to have to start wearing these masks. And it's hot, they uncomfortable, they hot, but listen, we got to start wearing these masks. So my thing is I started wearing the mask, and then it's just like I started listening to what's going on, and life was changing. Life was changing around me. So it's just like this thing is serious. So I have to start treating it seriously. And then on my YouTube channel, I always tell my laughing hyenas, wear your mask, wear your mask. So what good is it for me to tell somebody else to do something that I'm not willing to do? So I start wearing my mask, and I keep up with what's going on with the situation. And now it's just like, life has changed because I'm here and you're there.
Yeah.
And had we not been going through this pandemic, I would be there taping the show with you.
Yeah.
But life has changed. And then it's just like I do shows at houses, like the people doing the shows at the houses and stuff. And I do that, real cautious with that and everything. But I'm not to the point where I just want to go to the club on a regular. Like we started doing a show of a brunch. Stasha started doing a brunch on Sunday. So we go in there, we do that brunch. But I'm not doing. I cut my own hair because my hair was growing, because I refused to go to the barbershop to get my hair cut, because I know a lot of men, not all men, but a lot of men, they don't practice hygiene on a regular. So I'm not fixed to go in the barber knowing that I could be taking a chance on a man that's one of those men that's not, practicing hygiene. Because all they do when they cut somebody's hair, they shake their cake, wrap around your neck, cut your hair. They're
Exactly.
cleaning the shears and all that stuff. So it's just like I'm not willing to go to the barbershop right now. I'm not willing to go to the nail salons. My toes are jacked up. My fingernails, I don't let them do my fingernails anyway. But my toes are jacked up because I'm not willing to go sit in those places, those establishments. And some people say, well, why can you go and you do a show at this house and y'all don't be socially distancing and all that? I said, yeah. I said, but we taking care of stuff. I said, we got the Lysol, we wiping stuff down and we doing all that. And we wear our mask in and out and all that. I said, but just like I just explained to you, men are not, they're not doing that. They're not wiping down them seats and doing all that stuff, honey. But it's just like, child, you can't take those chances. Then I feel for the people with children, especially single moms with children, because it's a headache. I don't have a child. And I can just look and see the headache that this is bringing to people. And life is not going to ever be the same before it was before this pandemic.
Not at all.
It's never going to be the same.
All.
And it's just like the unemployment is a mess. Then I hear the news that the senators has left, and they're not going to come back till September, the middle of September, and they haven't come up with a plan to extend the unemployment benefits and all that. So it's just like, this is awful. It is awful.
Yeah,
it is awful.
We
and
will.
They don't care.
People keep I hear a lot of people saying when we get back to normal. I think we're like in the normal. This is going to be the normal for a very, very long time. So.
And the sad part about it is, it's like God, for this to happen to the entire world at the same time, that means God is taking care. He's doing something to everybody on this planet at the same time.
Yeah.
So he is trying to tell us something.
Yeah.
And then I feel like part of the reason he did it is because we're not taking care of the planet with the ozone, and all the glaciers melting and all this stuff. They saying that, the global warming and all of that. And he said, since y'all want to play and y'all don't want to take care of the planet that I have given y'all, so y'all just get off my earth. Go in your houses, get out of my air with these airplanes polluting my skies, get off my oceans with these boats and these yachts and stuff. He said, just go in, I'll take care of my planet. I'll take care of myself since y'all don't want to do it. And then it's just like, they are trying to force his hand and make him let us go back, although he is not finished doing what he's going to do. And so then it's just like, there is no way if I had a biological child, I don't care who says what, my child is not going to a school. My child is not going to no schoolhouse. And then it's just like, by y'all trying to force him to let us go back, he is showing y'all every day. The first day, they have cases of the coronavirus at these schools. Then they had it here in Georgia, had it in Texas, had it in. So it's just like, y'all think y'all trying to strong arm God. He is showing y'all, baby, listen, what I say is final. And it's just, what's that show, honey? Is that your final answer? He said, what I say is final, honey. So don't come back out here till I tell you to come back out.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%. I would not send my child back to school. I would do whatever I have to do to educate them at home right now. I don't understand that you want to send the kids back to school, but the bars here are still closed. Where adults, I mean, how are you gonna? I don't get it.
But not only that, they're releasing their friends from prison because of coronavirus. He's too old to be in prison. He made him contracted the coronavirus. Okay, well, if you have sympathy for your friend because he's old, you want to release him for prison, and he done committed a crime and been found guilty of that crime, but you want to release him, then why are you willing to put somebody else's child in harm's way? For the economy. And it's all about money. It's so political and it's about money. They just want you to spend money trying to get this economy back on the right track so he'll have some sense of a possibility of getting reelected again, honey. And he is doing it at the cost of human beings.
Of human lives. Yes, I agree with you 100%. Oh my God. Well, we could it's been a long time since we just sat and chat. That's what I felt like this was tonight. Not really an interview. It was just a conversation between friends, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I know you out there, all the viewers, have enjoyed this tremendously. This is a different light of the normal Sophia that you are used to seeing where she's just crazy. Although she's been crazy tonight too, but that's one of the purposes that this show has been a dream of mine for a long time, and I want to show the other sides of people.
The other side, baby. Yes. And, I want to say congratulations to you as well, because you stepping up doing this platform, the coffee time, honey. Yes, honey. And all the other stuff you're doing on, Facebook, YouTube, and all of that. And I'm so proud of you, because you've been around for, a long time, and you've been holding it down. You've always been the same. And it's just like, I always like to, give shout outs to you every time I see you doing something, and Hot Chocolate in Las Vegas, and Tommy Ross, the girls that, I know from back in the day, and y'all still doing it. I'm always proud of you guys, just as proud as you guys say you are of me. I'm proud of you as well. And also, on a sad note, one of the girls who do the same thing that we do, like MC, and she's very funny. She does comedy in New York. Last week she passed away, last Thursday. Wow. Her name, she went by the stage name was Sugar Pie Coco. She passed away last week. So we want to send prayers to New York, to her family and friends.
Yes, definitely.
And her real name was David Burgess, but
Wow. Yeah, it's something. Well, I appreciate that, and it's so true, because I know I would be involved in something. I think when I won this Continental Plus, one of the first congratulations messages that I got was from you, and I was like, Sophia, paying attention to what I'm doing.
Oh yeah, and Black America too. They say you did Black America Plus. I said, oh girl, that's my girl Coffee, honey. You came down here and shook it up. Say, okay. Well, coffee. Black coffee, no sugar, no cream. Well, I'm proud of you, and thank you for allowing me to do this, honey.
Oh my God, no! I was like, I'm gonna call Sophia. I'm gonna ask her and see what she says. But I am so excited for you and your new show at WERU. We Are You.
Yeah.
Gay owned and
I'll
operated.
never tell you no. I'll never tell you no, honey. Never tell you no, child.
No, well, I appreciate that. This has been a wonderful conversation.
Not many people that I won't do this, but I'll never tell you. You and Tommy and Fakir, I can name a couple of people that I could never say no to, but I thank you. You're doing a wonderful job, and I'm proud of you. It's going to go
thank
forward.
You so much. Thank you so much.
And before you know it, you're going to have your own radio show.
I would love that. Then I could be on there and not have to worry about looking like putting all this on all the time. So that would be great.
You're going to have to put that on. Because it's digital now, honey. It's digital.
I love to dress too, so, but
Oh, baby, listen. Who you telling, baby? I don't know. This is what they get on the radio. Danny Glover.
Because I was sitting there going, after you was telling me about the radio and all that stuff, and being Joe, I said, I just started taking all this off. One night, one show, I'm going to just take it all off. I'm going to say, you know what, y'all, I'm tired as hot. I'm going to just take it all off.
And that's what I tell you. You have to be creative, honey. You have to be creative. Like I told you, I refuse to go to the barbershop. So, my laughing hyenas, one of my laughing hyenas, I said, I'm going to cut my own hair. But I don't have no clippers. One of my laughing hyenas, she bought me some clippers. And so what I did was I went on YouTube Live one night, and that was the episode that I did. I cut my hair live.
Oh, okay.
But baby, I did a pretty good job, honey, because had I messed up, I knew I was going to be the mess if I had to cut my hair. If I plugged my hair and I had to go bald headed, I knew I was going to look a mess, honey, because I already know how I look with a bald head. I tried that before. I said, never again. It was a week of caps.
Oh, my God. Well, thank you again so much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. This is the one, the only, the comedic genius herself. This is my good friend all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. This is Sophia Mcintosh, and she's the real Sophia, and probably the real Madea too, but we ain't gonna leave that alone. Okay. So Sophia, thank you so much. And I really, really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I will talk to you later, sister. Thank you. Love you.
You're welcome. Love you too.
Good evening, everyone. You're watching the Coffee Break live from my Facebook page, Terry Coffee Ray. If you miss it here, you can also go over to my YouTube page, The Coffee Break. And while you're over there, please subscribe and hit like as well. Also, don't forget to visit localqueenmerch.com kofi.com/coffee to view some of my merchandise. I have wonderful t-shirts and also a fabulous fan that'll help keep you cool during all this heat. All right, once again, thank you for tuning in and watching the Kofi Break live from my Facebook page, Terry Kofi Ray. And again, if you miss it here, please go over to my YouTube channel, The Kofi Break. Subscribe and hit like.
I'm trying to hold my breath, let it stay this way. Can't let this moment end. You set off a dream with me, getting louder now. Can you hear it echoing? Take my hand, won't you share this with me? 'Cause darling, without you, all the shine from 1,000 spotlights, all the stars you steal from the night sky will never be enough, never be enough. Towers of gold are still too little. These hands could hold the world, but it'll never be enough, never be enough for me. Never, 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 never for me, for me. Never enough, never enough, never enough for me, for me, for me. All the shine from 1,000 spotlights, all the stars are still from the night sky will never be enough, never be enough. Towers of gold are still too little. These hands could hold the world, but it'll never be enough, never be enough for me. It's never enough, never for me, for me. Never enough for me, for me, for me.
Please don't forget to support some of my other good friends with their shows as well. On Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Central Time, Chevelle Boom Boom Brooks hosts Our Point of View. Also, coming from Miami, we have Stream Miami, hosted by Raul at 7 p.m. Central Time, and he is on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. Also, my good friend Tasha Long, Thursdays and Fridays with Tasha's Cabaret at 9 p.m. It is absolutely incredible. My good friend Dana Roxanne Collins, hosts The Spectrum. It is a topic-driven talk show. So please, it is Monday through Fridays at 5 p.m. Please check her out with The Spectrum.
Don't forget to tune in next week when our special guest will be the incomparable Bubba McNeely, along with the legend herself, Miss Dina Jacobs. Don't forget to also go to the YouTube channel, The Kofi Break, and subscribe. We thank you in advance for that. And remember, here at The Kofi Break, we always encourage you to stay safe, mask up, and don't forget to vote. Vote in November. The brew here at the Coffee Break is always different and is always good to the last drop.